Okay, so let's take it for a test drive. Now, let me turn this fan down. It's rather hot out today. But, okay, so if you're watching this video and the camera angle looks some weird camera angle, or if it's static, this is a 360 video, so just click on the screen and move around, and you can look around in the car while I'm driving. So if you're not familiar with 360 videos, or if you're using a cell phone, you move the cell phone around or whatever. Not sure if it works with smart TVs yet, but anyways, this is a 360 video, so you can look around. I guess sometimes I get the comment of some people think that I'm just aiming the camera at the floorboard or something. But anyways, here we go. At Sparks Toyota, this is the new 19 hatchback, and this has the first gear. It has a CVT with a first gear, so it actually has some regular gears in it. And as soon as I got to the dealership, they're like, man, one of the salespeople were like, man, you got to drive it. We drove it yesterday when it first came in, and it is awesome. I was like, really? Okay, let me check it out. And they were just really excited for me to drive it and check it out. So I'm like, made me excited to drive it. So, see what happens. I'm liking the front visibility. And nice big windshield. I don't like that window sticker being in my way, but whatever. And we'll try out the sport mode. Alright, so I guess they're busy or something, so we'll go around them. Alright, here we go. Bumper to bumper traffic. That's always a good test drive. Real world test drive. So you've noticed, until we get a little bit faster, but if you noticed, in the title of this video is a test drive experience. Typically I would have a salesperson ride with me and they would kind of go over some features, but today I was able to drive by myself. But I try to explain things objectively, and it's you can't do that on a test drive. It's completely subjective experience. And so I don't say certain things that other people might say in a quote review video, because I'm not trying to influence your buying decision. So what the stiff suspension on for some people is different from others. So like, I'll drive a vehicle and it feels smooth as glass, and other people drive it and think it's super stiff suspension. They can't stand it, and it's quote horrible and hysterical terms like that. And I'm like, it's just a dang car, But anyways, I like the air conditioning. It's been a really hot day, and I've been enjoying this air conditioning. What I'll do is I'll do some filming, and when I get overheated, I'll sit in the car and cool off for a minute, read a little bit about the vehicle and understand a little bit better. And the air conditioning has been nice, and also the light interior helps out with the sun shining on it and not heating it up so much. Now these seats are supposed to be leather trimmed. I'm not sure. This is probably some kind of vinyl material. It does feel like a difference there. Use the brake hold feature. So we got the brake hold on, so it's holding the brake, push the accelerator, and it goes. And we're gonna go out on the highway. As soon as we get out of this busy road, we're going to get out on the highway and get up to 70 miles an hour, and so you get an idea with the road noise. You can hear the road a lot, can't you? I can. So what do you think about this light interior? I think it's fantastic. Matter of fact, that's one of the reasons why I chose this vehicle. When I first pulled up on the lot, I saw two. One is a silver SE, and I was checking it out, and I was like, you know what? Everybody's probably gonna have the XSE. I'll just go ahead and do the SE, right? And which I probably will anyway. But when I saw this one, I was like, okay, there's the XSE, looks good. I opened up the door, saw the interior. I was like, all right, I gotta do this one for sure because of the way it looked on the inside. I just had to check this out. Now, it helps out with the video when you're filming a car to have light interior, so you can see it a little bit better. You know, when the color, especially contrasty colors like this. The only problem with this one is black on the outside. So, luckily I had some shots of a white one, so you can see what the trim and everything looks like. Because when you have a full black vehicle, then if you have black trim, that all blends in. You can't really appreciate the style as much on the car. So I'm going to overlay on the video a white car, so that way you can kind of see what it looks like a little bit better. So overall, I have the seat a little bit up. I'm gonna move it back. Got it all the way down. Forgot to adjust the lumbar. Wow. Dang. That's like a little bit. It gives a lot of support there. I think it's a little bit too much. And back it off a little bit. Some vehicles, you push the lumbar, you're like, is it working? I can't even tell the difference. But this one, you could definitely tell that it is operating. It's pretty good. That brake hold, I'm not used to that, so I'm gonna turn that off. That's a little unexpected, I'll just say that. So you let go of the brake and it doesn't move. I would have to slowly, gradually get used to that. And if I lived in a city like this where there's lots of stop and go traffic and bumper to bumper type stuff, then I would probably appreciate that feature a little bit more. But I'm not in traffic like this all the time. No, that speedometer is pretty neat. It has like a floating needle. Since it's digital, it just has the end of the needle, and then the pivot point is missing. That's pretty neat. Toyota makes really good brakes, nice and smooth. Well, another thing is it's a fairly light vehicle too, so it's not a heavy. It feels pretty nimble and it doesn't feel like a CVT. Of course, we're not really going that fast, or we really haven't gotten. Pretty much stayed in, I suppose, the first gear. It's showing me the speed limit sign on the dash here. It says 55, so I guess it was able to use the camera to read it, because it doesn't have any GPS. So it has a camera up here that reads the street signs. It'll kind of give you an idea of what's going on. Because one time I was driving along and not paying attention, and all, next thing you know, I got pulled over, and the cop's like, "Do you know what the speed limit is?" I'm like, "Last speed limit sign I saw was 55," and he's like, "Well, it just changed to actually changed. It changed. I thought it was 45 actually. It was 55, then it was 45, and then it changed again to 35, and I didn't know about it, and I was still going 45. Anyways, so it's good. Like, you know, sometimes you're like, what's the speed limit? You know, especially when people are passing you. Okay, so it's moving the steering wheel a little bit to keep me in the lane. Yeah, to keep me in the lane there. Kind of like abruptly does it, so it's not like you can let go of the steering wheel and let it drive itself. It's just like a safety feature. So there's a little bit smoother road, so less noise. Not smooth road. So it just passed the 65 mile an hour sign, but apparently I didn't see it because it still says 55, but I know the speed limit's 65. So, okay, so here we are cruising along, and it's moving the steering wheel, it's moving it, it's moving it. I can feel it tugging a little bit, keeping me in the lane. Yeah, I did not even touch the steering wheel, and it's moving it. And it's not telling me to put my hands on the wheel either. So we'll see how long it takes before it tells me to put my hands on the wheel. I'm just kind of hovering my hands here. I'm not comfortable taking my hands completely. Okay, so now it's telling me to hold the steering wheel. So even though you're holding it, it can still, you know, take the fatigue out. If you're just like kind of resting your hand on it, take the fatigue from all those micro adjustments. It can actually kind of steer a little bit for you. But I'm not really used to that, so I'm going to turn that off. I want to actually feel the steering and all that stuff. So I'm going to go a little bit faster. So I got the cruise set at 70. As soon as it stabilizes. So it's set at 70, and the RPMs are around 1800 RPMs at 70 miles an hour. The CVT, of course, we're in the CVT range now. And it's the adaptive cruise control. So if I change the lanes, go in this lane here. Now it's going to keep me a distance away from them. It's actually slowing down a little bit. Just slightly. Now it's speeding back up because the car got out of the way. So it'll kind of speed up to the next car. Or maintain my 70. If they're going slower than 70, then I'll get closer to them. was slowing down, but it wasn't. I didn't feel any braking. All right, let's clear that, and we'll get a fresh start here. Gas. Yeah, the first gear doesn't last long, so it instantly feels like a CVT basically. The first gear, you know, gives you that initial momentum, but then it instantly goes to the CVT. Objectively show a test drive, and one of the things that hopefully this video kind of demonstrates, like you can visually see things, you know, lying around here, maybe like cell phone in the seat or whatever, and kind of give you an idea of how bouncy and stiff the suspension is on these rough roads or you know, smooth roads or whatever. Also, you can hear the road difference depending on what, you know, if it's a smooth road or whatever. But I was thinking, like, if I were to have a bottle of water somewhere or something, so you can kind of get an idea, see the water slosh around, or I don't know. It's one of those things where it's really tough to objectively show the characteristics of a vehicle, you know. So, like, say, I watch these other channels occasionally, but here recently I've watched them just like because it seems like some people, they kind of poison the well type thing. They inject some kind of negative thought into the minds of the viewers, and then it seems like that's contagious, because then they go and repeat that in the comments everywhere they go, and it's like it seems so disconnected to me what they're saying, because it's like I didn't experience that at all, you know, whatever they're saying. And so I think it's important that if you're a viewer watching a video, that when people say negative things about a car or whatever, if they're not, unless they have some kind of standard in which they're evaluating it, then it's basically just their own personal whim-based opinions, you know. It's like, and sometimes, like me right now, trying to think of things to say while I'm driving on this long test drive with you, but sometimes it seems like they're kind of just trying to think of things to say, and they're saying things and being a little bit nitpicky, which is going to persuade people to buy a vehicle or not buy a vehicle, you know. So that's not my intention. My intention is to give you information, and then I respect you enough, respect your intelligence and all that, to where you can make your own decision and make your own choices. And also, there's so many variables from one person to the next for just basic needs. If you just like, preferences aside and just evaluated somebody's needs, everybody's needs are completely different. Like a family, like a large family or whatever, this is going to be hard to fit everybody in. So, if you had like a minivan or something like that, but then if you had somebody that's single and they just want to have a small car, then they wouldn't like a minivan. So, those are kind of extreme examples, but preferences in addition to just basic needs. If you had a family of 10, you wouldn't want to get a Corvette, you know what I'm saying? But as your main, vehicle. So there's lots of it's just infinitely variable. Just like a transmission, continuously variable needs and preferences. So for me to tell you what your needs are and for me to try to influence your preferences, not gonna happen. Unlike there's a lot of other channels, for some reason they feel a need to do that and influence people, but I don't respect that at all. Also, another thing is, it's interesting just on the topic of other channels, unless you've really helped other people, like let's say you're have a car channel and you're doing video reviews, and I don't really like that term for me because a review is subjective. Unless you've spent a lot of time helping multiple people, like in my case, I've helped hundreds of people with their buying experience. Unless you've gone through that lots and lots of times with lots of different people, then it's kind of hard to think like a consumer that's outside of your own mind. So if you have you're constantly evaluating based on your own perceptions. It's hard to put yourself in the shoes of other people unless you know what other people are looking for. Like when I was selling cars, when I first started selling cars, I was kind of surprised. It was kind of there was some stuff, there was some preferences, and there was some needs that I never would have thought of. I just never would have thought of those particular viewpoints or needs. And I'm like, okay, this particular thing is exists. So now I can look at vehicles as, what is this intended for? How could it be useful for somebody? All that stuff. So that way I'm less inclined to inject my own personal bias and opinion. Like me personally, I like two-door cars. So if it's got 4 doors, that instantly kind of off the list for me, but that's just me, and that's me right now. Maybe next year I'll have, need a 4-door car, I don't know, and in the past I needed a 4-door car, but right now 2-door car is what I want. So I think, so if you have a channel in which you're doing quote reviews and you haven't helped lots and lots, hundreds of people directly in person with their buying experience and trying to find them vehicles, and like really like that's your livelihood is helping people with vehicles, then I don't see how it puts a damper on the credibility there anyway, as far as your subjective opinion based on vehicles. It's not that it can't be done, but I think it helps to where if you're going to have a channel and talk about vehicles in a review type sense, then I think it's good to go and work at a dealership for a couple years and help a lot of people as a salesperson that actually helps people walking off the street and they need a particular car, or they're looking for a particular car and they have these preferences, or whatever the case may be, or they walk in the door and they don't know what they want, and you got to help them. You got to figure it out, or the husband wants this car and the wife wants that car. Have you ever dealt with that? Well, these are things that really opens your mind to different perspectives, and it did to me for sure. So anyways, here we are at the dealership coming back. We have an idea of what it sounds like, how it drives a little bit, so you get an idea of the transmission shifting, the adaptive cruise control, the lane keep assist, the brake hold, and we have a little bit of fuel economy data here as well. So hopefully this video has been helpful. It's kind of long, and it's actually a real test drive experience. So if you were sitting right there, then this is what you would experience, me going out on a test drive, and it'd be a real world experience, not a fabricated commercial, you know. But anyways, here we are back, and I'm going to go ahead and park it, turn in the keys, thank them for allowing me to show off an awesome vehicle. And we're here at Sparks Toyota in Myrtle Beach, a really good dealership. And that's the thing about the dealerships I work with. I have mystery shopped dozens of dealerships, and the dealerships I work with are the ones that I feel comfortable with working at and sending customers to. So it's not like I don't work for them or anything like that. It's just when I wanted to get access, basically I need to access the new cars, right? So for me to do that, I have to make a positive relationship with the dealership. In order for me to do that and still have some integrity and, you know, and sleep at night, then I wanted to make sure that I get the dealerships that are positive in the market. So anyways, thanks for watching. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off there, and I'll see you